Thank you very much for the presentation. Sorry, I'm a little bit cold. I hope you can hear me properly. I'm going to show you some of the work we are doing in relation with the dispatching problem. A little bit related with some of the things you show us, Marga, Lisa, before. In this case, we are trying to also learn the traffic pattern flow across the boiling in order to feed the dispatching algorithm to improve its performance. I'm going to speak a little bit about the multiple traveling salesman problem, a little bit about the passenger flow and how can we learn about it, and how can dynamically estimate the passenger data, and I give some conclusions. Vertical transportation is a CAF segment problem that can be solved using genetic algorithms. A genetic algorithm uses individuals. These individuals represent a complete solution where every HAL call is assigned to one CAF, taking into account also CAF calls. This technique explores the solution space, beginning with random solutions. If we don't have any knowledge to add to this solution space, and then applying different functions like selections, crossover, or mutations, it can find in with few interactions one solution that can be properly used to control the destination of the CAFs. During this process, it finds and holds the best solution within the specified time. The computing time to find a good solution is short in vertical transportation, but due to the fast reaction ability of genetic algorithms, a quite good solution can be found even without using any passenger information. The question is, how can we improve this performance using some passenger information? I'm going to explain now what we will need to do a good estimation in order to feed the genetic algorithms with the proper information. When we use genetic algorithms, we need to calculate the expected waiting time of the passengers in the installation that are waiting for the cab to come. This is how the genetic algorithm takes its decisions. To explore a solution, we can assign HAL calls to cabs. Once every call has been assigned to a single cab and all the calls are assigned to any car, a version of the traveling salesman problem can be implemented to find the best route for each cab to attend the corresponding calls. I have to say that the traveling salesman problem is in artificial intelligence. We use it in order to for a man to go through different cities to visit different places, and these algorithms, once it has a lot of places to visit, finds the best route to do it. Okay, and so we have to do this calculation properly using this algorithm. We can extract the expected waiting time of the passenger associated to every cab and sum them up to select the best solution for the whole system. So we implement, we find for each curve the best solution for the calls we have assigned to this curve, and then we can sum them up to have a expected waiting time for the whole problem. But what information do we have about the passenger waiting for the cabs to come, and what we know about the passenger expected to come in the next time interval? Our hypothesis is that past days information provides long-term information in some buildings where approximately the same passenger traffic pattern appears day after day. So we can implement a genetic algorithm-based algorithm attending the request, thinking that only there is one passenger behind each request. It's a simple version of this algorithm, but it can work quite properly, I think, because it is this problem is very fast, and if we use properly the information we have from the iterations we have done before, the algorithm can react quite properly to the changes on the requests. But if we want to improve it, we can think about this information, how many passengers are behind each call, apart from the one have done the request. And for doing that, we use an approach that is use the information provided by the algorithm. When we collect a log data using the request done by the passengers the days after, we can analyze this information and try to find a pattern. Every time a system changes, we can write a log file and register this change. The passengers that enter the system leave it when they arrive to their destinations. Recording this information in a long file and using detailed weight data, we can extract detailed information about passengers moving through the building along the day. That is we call long-term information. Flow conservation rule is applied in this context. The number of passengers entering and leaving the system are the same. If we collect information for different days, we can try to learn a passenger flow pattern specific for each building. Here I have plotted one result of the down direction traffic flow we got using the Elevate simulation software, and counting the passenger number going down direction for 10 different days using the same pattern with random variability up to 10. The same we did with the up direction traffic flow. We think that with this information we can learn specific characteristics of the pattern for the building, time in which each pattern usually begins, the duration, the intensity, the target average waiting time for each time interval. The question is that we can collect and analyze information across different days, and it can give us the possibility to take long-term decisions even short-term decisions, but we can use this information also to learn about their own pattern. Maybe we can learn periods of time along the day in which the passenger traffic pattern suffers of high variability and avoid using information about it. This is how we do it. To learn this traffic pattern, we use clustering methods. We first collect log data for several days and process this information to get origin-destination matrices for a time interval, perhaps 2.5 minutes. We then can extract some indicators from these matrices. We can count how many passengers go up, down for each period of time across different days. And clustering will show us which day is the one that has the lowest variability. And we can use it as a pattern. If we try to use this pattern, we then have to think about what is going on in a short term. And in a short term, we can collect some of the information about the request we have in the system. And then we need to mix this long-term information with the short-term information and take decisions. In this case, we try to mix this information in a very simple way. I think that we have to think more about it. We use these matrices. We take a third of the information they give us, and because these matrices were from 2.5 minutes, and the real-time information we collected was for 50 seconds. So we simply added the information given by these matrices about the passenger we still think are coming in these time intervals. And we wanted to evaluate this additional information we are using in the dispatching algorithm, using for that the values the traveling salesman algorithm provide us in different situations. Perhaps in this case, if we have this request with these passengers behind, and our two cabs needs to answer this request, we analyze all the possible solutions, and then we analyze these solutions in case of having no data. And when I say no data, I mean only considering one passenger behind each call, and with data considering the information given by the long-term information we have. And we noticed that the decision that the algorithm takes can change if we have the proper information in a long term. I have to say that the counting process has good accuracy, but at least in simulation environments. We haven't had the opportunity to prove this technique in real-time data apart from one small circumstances. But I think that vertical transportation has specific problems, and the process of mixing long-term and short-term information needs to be reconsidered. And we are evaluating the type of buildings and passenger traffic profiles that can take more advantage from this architecture. And this is all.